Hi, my name is Traci Glidden, and this is my tiny home that I just completed 4 weeks ago. It's been a year-long build. My husband, he helped. He was there too. We're both carpenters by trade, so he helped me frame it, set the windows and doors, and then said, okay babe, this is you. You're the finished carpenter, you finish it up. We have 3 kids, and our youngest is 20, which is crazy to say. He just moved out 6 weeks ago, so a couple years ago we decided we thought we might try and go tiny. We never did live in big homes anyway, so we're big fans of small spaces, small homes, so this was our project as empty nesters. I'm also starting a tiny home design build company here in the greater Seattle area, Tacoma, Washington. So this is my model home, my first model home. So yeah, I'm excited. Our tiny house is 30 feet long and 10 feet wide, which makes it 300 square feet, plus a loft. We built this giant deck that we didn't want any railings, so we just wanted it to kind of spill out into the yard, so that just kind of brought the outside in. The siding is yellow, Alaskan yellow cedar. We chose not to finish it, not to put anything on it. We just wanted it to weather, let it do what it wants to do. So we'll see what it does. Hopefully it turns gray and tarnished like the corrugated metal that we used on the side. In a couple different spots we used the metal. It's salvaged also. On the hitch end is the utility closet. It has an electrical panel and our on-demand propane water heater. And it has some space in there to store some things, but I was pretty particular about the way I sided this, and I grain matched it, so I was kind of geeked out there. But it was pretty fun. So the doors are grain matched with the siding. The location of the tiny house is in a yard that's got quite a bit of a slope. I think it's from the front of the trailer to the back of the trailer. I think it was 2.5 feet or so. So we decided to pour sauna tubes that we ran beams across to set and level the tiny house. We didn't want, since it's going to be here for a while, we didn't want any bounce while we're in there. We wanted it to feel nice and sturdy, so that was how we chose to level it and give it a foundation, a good foundation. As I mentioned, in this utility cabinet, there's some storage, but not much. And my husband and I are both carpenters, so we needed a little bit of workspace. We have a shop around the corner that we use. This property, we've been here for 14 years, so we raised our kids in the main house. And as we decided we wanted to downsize and simplify as our kids grew up and moved out, we visualized a tiny house in the back corner, so that's where we built this tiny house. One of the reasons that we wanted to move into a tiny house is to simplify, obviously, but also give us a little bit of financial freedom. So we figured if we built a tiny house and lived in it in the backyard, we could rent out the main house that we weren't prepared to sell. We didn't want to sell it, so we could rent it out and the house could therefore pay for itself, relieving us of a mortgage payment. And of course, the utilities in a tiny house are so much less than in a main house. Cleaning it requires less time, and so it's just a lot of freedom there. One thing about living in a tiny home is it's small and it's hard to have a bunch of people over. So, which is one reason why I built this big deck, because I like to be outside. I like to have people over, but I also know that when you just have one door that goes into a space, you could end up with a dead end mess of people. So I added this door here to create a nice flow of traffic when you're inside or outside. And it also centers on this beautiful bar seating table with the window that opens up to the inside with its book-matched partner on the inside. Let's check out the inside. This is the inside of my not so tiny. My favorite part of my tiny is, and a focal point in the great room, is my my bar. I had it milled at a local sawmill. I'm in love with it. I like it more than I even imagined I would. I also use the space underneath the bar for storing things that we all have, that we need to have places for. The wheel well works really well as a footstool and also a catch-all, which is great because we all come in with our hands full and you end up piling things there, so it keeps the countertops clear. All of the doors and windows in the tiny house here are salvaged except for this baby right here. This was the one that we custom ordered, but the rest of them are all salvaged. I'm pretty proud of that. As you come around, we have this living space here. I opted to have the couch on the end wall instead of on a side wall to kind of avoid that tunnel vision that you end up in tiny houses. So it really makes it nice and wide. It feels wider here than it would if it was on the side. This is amazing because it stores all of my kitchen appliances and other goodies that you don't use every day on the countertop. And we have 2 dogs, which are outside. They share this little bed. Good thing they get along. So this piece of furniture here, I built several years ago. It fits perfectly right here, I love it. It's cherry and white oak. It has the wooden guides, which I really love. There's no metal guides in it at all. And it holds lots of goodies that you need in a tiny house. I chose to do plywood walls, 4x4 panels with exposed screws. I'm a carpenter by trade and so is my husband, so we kind of did this nod to industrial design. So lots of screwing here. Lots of perfect measuring. This is nice because if you need to get into the walls, it's accessible. As you come around this direction is my kitchen, which is all, again, salvaged plywood from a commercial job site. I was very excited to be able to reuse plywood that was just going to be thrown away. So I went with the open look because doors get in the way. And if you have pretty dishes, then you can show them off too. So every shelf was measured for exactly what needs to be in there. Stem glasses I put in. The drawers, I chose to do just no fronts on them. This one is grain matched salvaged plywood. I use this space to store things also. And the pull out garbage. I knew I couldn't have a very big sink, so I went with the deepest sink I could find, and it's great. It's really great. I can wash my biggest pot, which just barely fits in there, but just enough to, it's awesome. I was a little concerned about that. The backsplash is actually, it's real metal, but it's just the stick-on backsplash, so it's lightweight, and it should be fairly easy to keep clean. I really like the shimmeriness of the metal with the light on. In the evening, that's really pretty. And I made this so that if you need more counter space, this works really good. It sits right over the top of the burner. And then above the range, obviously, is a hood. And this is a pretty fancy hood vent because it's super compact. So when you open it up, it collects the steam a little more, turns the light on, turns the fan on, all by itself, closes. It's really fun. And then I'm really excited about this tiny house because there's so much natural light. So I'm hoping to be able to keep more plants alive than my old house was so dark. The refrigerator, which is, my husband's tall, he's 6'2". and he always complains about leaning over to get in the refrigerator, so I made sure I raised it up for him. And speaking of my husband, he brought home a kitten the weekend that we moved in. Thanks, babe. He's adorable. I'm in love with the kitten. So I had to find a place all of a sudden for a cat litter box, but because the refrigerator was so tall, the cat litter box fits perfectly underneath there for now. Hopefully the kitty will eventually move out and catch mice for us. Here, I designed a ladder/pantry shelf unit that the ladder gets you up into the loft. This was kind of a design that I came up with at the last minute. I was originally just going to have a ladder that you would just store up in the loft, but I decided I wanted the loft to be accessible all the time so that you wouldn't have to pull the ladder down, because I didn't want you to not climb up there just because you have to get the ladder down. So I came up with this idea, plus I needed a little more space for food, because who doesn't want lots of food? So yeah, it works perfect. So you can climb all the way up to the little top, and you have your little loft, which we don't sleep in, but it's perfect for guests or napping or reading or getting away. You know, it's got an awesome little skylight that we also salvaged, and it opens, it's solar powered, so it's pretty exciting. Little island. I wasn't sure if it was gonna be a nuisance in here in the middle, but we've only been here 4 weeks, and it's a necessity. It's amazing. It's on wheels, so you know, you can move it around, you can slide it out of the way if you want to. I made this also. It's really fun to have that skill when you come up with an idea and you're like, this would work great. So I'm gonna build it. It's a 4-inch thick plywood top. So anyway, I just ripped it up into 4-inch rips, laminated it all together, glued it all together, and then sanded it down. It took a while, but it's a great butcher block now. And then down below is my pots and lid storage in the little basket, which I think looks cool, and I think it's effective. We'll find out the longer I'm here. So I did mention that the bar window is my favorite, but maybe my favorite is the floors because they're heated. And I'm not gonna have cold feet anymore. So we chose to do an electric, far infrared electric heated floors. Amazing, amazing. Been here 4 weeks, and I think it's my favorite part of the whole house, is the heated part of the floors. Also, we opted for a 10-foot wide tiny house trailer versus the standard 8.5 foot. We're not gonna move it very often, maybe twice, probably just once. So we decided to go for that extra 1.5 feet. I think it's gonna makes a lot of difference in here. So this tiny house is 10 foot by 30 feet long. It's not very tiny. This is the entryway, and this is my dream door. I always wanted an archtop door, and I found this at 2nd U Seattle. I had to refinish it, which was a doozy. It took many hours of stripping and sanding and refinishing, but it was so worth it. Don't have doorknobs yet because I have to custom order the split finish knobs, but I love this door. Solid mahogany. And the wheel well that comes through here, I decided to use this space for something usable. So I just came up with this little catch-all cabinet that has little baskets for whatever you need to throw in there as you come in. My husband is always losing his phone and wallet and keys and those things. His mask now. Anyway, so he throws it in here and he knows right where it's at. And then over here, there's a little spot where there's a couple coat hooks and a full-length mirror, which is important and hard to find a spot to put a full-length mirror in a tiny house. So it's great. Right as you're walking out, you can do a little check. Make sure you put your pants on. And then this direction is the bathroom. And in here is our tiny house little bathroom. I tried to find the smallest corner shower that I could. I did mention my husband's 6'2", so he's tall, but he likes it. He calls it the little capsule. It holds in all the heat. Nice and cozy in here. Works really good. We have a rain shower head up here. The on and off switch is up here because all of the walls are as thin as possible to save on square footage. So they're just plywood walls. So all of the plumbing goes through the ceiling up here. The plumbing and the electrical and the fan. We have our composting toilet. And again, the salvaged plywood from a commercial job site. This is actually the end of the other side of the wheel well. Right here is just the end of it. So then I just went with that wheel well spot right there and just went up with a cabinet. Live edge countertop here that matches the one in the kitchen. A vessel sink, wall mounted faucets. I am a firm believer in lots of different kinds of lighting. And so I also designed in the tiny house this triple pocket door system that creates a nice big open space for two people. Most of the time the doors are open, but sometimes you need to close doors, and so these doors close here. When the bathroom doors are closed, obviously somebody can come through here into the bedroom, or you can close these two doors, and then you have an attached master bathroom, or you can close the two master bedroom doors, and then you can still access the bathroom if somebody's in the bedroom. And here is our master bedroom, main floor bedroom, which was important to us. We love lofts, they're cozy, they're fun, but we didn't want to have to climb up into one every night and have to climb down, I don't know, 2 or 3 times a night to pee, so it was important to us to have a main floor bedroom. Eventually this is going to be a Murphy bed, so we can use this floor space for a dance floor or yoga. I know I already have 2 doors in my tiny house, but I have a third here out of the master bedroom. Out here, there's an outdoor shower on the outside of the tiny house, which I imagine we're going to build a deck right outside this door, and so we can use an outdoor shower. I like to be outside, so I want to be able to get outside from wherever I'm at in the tiny house. And this direction, we have a combo washer dryer unit, which is amazing. It's the only unit we found that was vented. It does a wash and dry load in 3 hours, so it's amazing. This is our closet system. There's one for each side. The hanging clothes in the back are accessible by this little hinging shelving unit, so you can access your hanging clothes here. I designed it and built it. Yes, I sat pen and paper for a long time, kind of like with the pocket doors. It took a while to figure out how to make those doors work. I knew there was a way, but it took a while. I figured it out. And the same with this too. I thought if I could use this depth next to the bed here for closet space, how I could use it, but still be able to access it. So that's what I came up with. As I built this tiny home, I realized that I wanted to continue doing it, and I wanted to share it with other people. So I figured this is a great business opportunity. So, and as a designer and as a builder, I figured this is a calling, and I'm going to go for it. Thanks for stopping by today and checking out my tiny house. I hope you enjoyed it. And check out my Big Bliss business at bigblisstinyhomes.com or my Instagram, Big Bliss Tiny Homes. Come on.
Thank you for watching our video and for stopping by Tiny House Expedition. I'm Alexis.
And I'm Christian. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.
And for more tiny home tours and stories, click the videos below.
And join us on Patreon for bonus content,
including face-to-face conversations with us. We hope to see you there.
All right.
Thanks, guys.
Have a good one.